Today, you're finally going to learn how to use files in your Python code. There are multiple file types, and I will cover some of them in my next videos. But in this video, I will focus on textual documents and core principles when working with files. Hello coders, welcome to my channel. I'm David, your guide to mastering programming. There are two ways of opening files. First is with function open. I will create my variable name and I will give it name file, and then I will use the function open. Here I need to pass my file name. For example, here I created a file named file1, file1.txt, and then the next parameter that I have to pass is the mode in which I want to open my file. I want to open it in my R mode, which means read only mode. I will be only able to read the data. For example, now I will have x to be equal to file.read. This will read the complete file, and I will want to print it. The important thing with working with files is that you always have to close the file. You need to close the file because if file isn't closed, you're using your system resources and the file may be corrupted in meantime. And also, you have to close the file in order to save the changes. So here, file.close. Now when I run this code, as you can see, line 1, line 2, and line 3 are printed. This function, read, is used to read the whole file and store it in some variable. With this method, you have to manually close files, as you have seen here, which is not very automatic, and sometimes you can forget to do that. This is why programmers created context managers who do that for you, and they are the second way of opening files. To open a file with context manager, you need to write the keyword with, then open the file, of course pass the file name, in my case file1.txt, and open it in the mode you want. For example, I again want to open it in a read-only mode. Next, you need to write as and then the variable in which you want to store that file. For example, again, file. Here, I can write the same code as before. Print file.read. Now, when I run this code, I expect to see the same code as before. As you can see, line 1, line 2, and line 3 are printed again. Here, I didn't write close anywhere, but Context Manager did that for me. That is why it is a preferred method when working with files. It automatically closes the file for you, and you won't forget to do that. Another important thing is that you have to write the file path if the file is not in the same directory. For example, here, file 1 is in the same directory as my project lesson 31 files. But if some file is not in the same directory, then I have to write the whole path to it. For example, I have file 2, which is not inside this directory, and I need to write f, I mean the whole path, which is in this case f colon and then slash slash. I mean backslash backslash. Why double backslash? Because if I write just one slash, it will think that this f is some special character. This will tell Python that the next slash is just a regular slash. Now when I run this, as you can see, this is the second file, which prints f2 line, f2 line 2, f2 line 3. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Thanks for your support. There are modes in which you can open your file. R mode, which is short for read-only mode. It is the default mode. If you don't pass the mode, the R mode will be passed automatically. W mode is write, that creates or overwrites a file. I will show you that in a moment. A mode is for appending. It is when you want to edit some file. X mode is to create a file but fails if file already exists. B mode is binary mode. It's for creating binary documents. T is for text mode, and that is the default mode. Plus is if you want read and write functionalities. I want to show you that there are 4 ways of reading the file. I already showed you the first one, which is file read, reads the whole file and stores that, returns that as a string. Now when I run this, as you can see, it prints the whole file. But maybe I want just one line. In that case, I can use read line function, which reads just one line. Now when I run this, as you can see, only the first line is printed. Another option is maybe I want to get all the lines but separate them. With just file.read function, I return the whole file as a string, and that's just one data. But maybe I want to separate the lines, in which case I use read lines. Read lines returns a list of lines, as you will see now. As you can see, the list of lines is stored here. And the last option is maybe you want to get line by line and process it step by step. In that case, you can use regular for loop. For line in file, print this is a and then line value. Now when I run this, as you can see, it prints this is a line value. Now I want to show you how to write something to a file. For example, here I want to write something in my first file, and in that case I need to open it in a W mode. As you can see, here are the combinations. I will cover some of them, but if you want to use the rest, you need to practice on your own. So now I will show you first how this file 1 looks. This is how it looks. It has line 1, line 2, and line 3, but you will see how it would look when I write something in it. For example, file.write and then write something, caps lock line 1. I need to pass this special character n if I want to have the next line. Now when I run this, I will show you how this works in my file 1. As you can see, all the data before are removed and this new line is written, which means when you want to write something in a file, it overwrites everything that is already in it. Also, I can write multiple lines, which is in my case here, I can write file.write lines and here passed a list of lines that I want to store in my file. For example, I want to store line 1. No. I want to store 1 and then special character, then 2, then special character for next line. Now when I run this code, as you can see, file 1 looks like this. That's why if you want to just edit your file and not remove everything that is already in it, you have to open it in a appending mode, which is here A. Now when I run this, I expect to see these lines 2 times, as you will see now. As you can see, I have this line 1 extra time. Files are perfect example where you should use generators. Files can be very large, and storing them immediately when there is no need to do that can put a very big burden on your system. For example, if I have a file full of numbers and I need to add them up, there is no need for me to first store the whole file and then add them up. I can simply get one number and add it to other. For example, I have my file here, file numbers, which has these 5 numbers. I don't need to store all of them and then add them. I can get one by one and add them one by one. To do that, I can write a function. A function generator, for example, gen. Now I will name it file add, and then I will get the name. Here, I will pass that name, and this A will be R now. So for line in file yield line, but as I have told you, all the data in a textual file are stored as strings. So I need to convert this to float. So here I will typecast this line to float and yield it. For I in f.add and then a file name, which is in my case file underscore number.txt, and now I just want to add them, but for that I need one helper variable, which I will call sum, and it should be equal to 0, and sum will be equal to plus equal then the I. Now when I print this sum, I expect to get 22.9 because that's what I will get when I sum all of these numbers. As you can see, my function added all of them and returned me 22.9, which is what I wanted. This is a banal example, but the point is that with generators, you only get a portion of data from a file. Thus, you don't burden your system that much. I hope you found this video helpful. Like and subscribe for more coding content. See you in my next video. Until then, keep coding.